Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your November 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Cancer, November 1st to the 15th, 2021, Cancer. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have judgment and we have justice. So justice is also Libra energy. So if we have Libra within our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully, but we're rising out of the darkness and we're learning how to be just to ourselves and with ourselves, which is going to be a very powerful thing, Cancer. We then have offering, which in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Hermit. So that's Virgo energy. We have love, which in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. And then we have the Six of Earth. So if we have Virgo or Capricorn in our natal chart, that's coming through very powerfully in our inner self. We're also going to be very drawn to earth sign energy during this time, kind of a stability, a security, a sense of having a plan and executing that plan and moving things forward with practicality is going to be very important to us. Then we have our emotional self. We have the Three of Cups. For me, that is a person who celebrated us, who raised their glass to us and wasn't able to follow through with what they had promised and what they had given to our lives. So, or what they should have given to our lives. This could be a parent, this could be a lover, this could be a friend, so here, this is going to be something that's really quite intense that comes up, but we're also being reminded, look at the people who celebrate us, who truly are there for us. They tend to be the people that we take for granted because we're going to think, oh, well, that person's always going to be there. But there's no assurity. Then we have the King of Pentacles, again, coming in with that earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And then we have the Ten of Cups, and they all live happily ever after. And I just love the Nordic saying when I see this Ten of Cups. It says, better to be king of a cottage than servant in a castle. And I think that should be how we live our lives. Better to be the ruler of our own existence than always striving for something that can seem out of reach, that can put us just deeper and deeper into debt. We have the Four of Cups. A gift comes in. It doesn't seem like a gift. It can seem like an extra workload. And then we have the Three of Cups again. This sense of just frustration. It's like, oh, I have to deal with this energy. I have to deal with this reminder of this person or this insecurity that has come up all because of, this issue, this thing that has been weighing me down. And it does come from when we're younger. So it could be from a first love. It could be from a parent. A caregiver. This is somebody who we didn't expect to be betrayed by. So just be mindful of this during this time, that there's this energy of, I'm not going to trust them because of what happened to me before, or I don't know if I can move forward the way that I want to, or I can get to where it is that I want to be because of what happened before. And we might not even be aware of it. It might just always be this kind of roadblock that we come up against, this thing that we hit and we hit it again. And it's like, oh my goodness, what's going on here? So let's look at our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. We have the moon. So this is Pisces energy, but this is also fear. So the fact that water sign energy is coming up as something we can be mindful of is also telling us that our emotional connection to things and our emotional reactions to things are going to be very strong. When the moon comes up as something to be mindful of, it can be being mindful of people who prey on fear, okay, who are going to be fear mongering, who are going to be trying to escalate the fear to a point that you buy what they're selling you, or to the point that you become distrustful of whomever or whatever. And so this is going to be a time where we kind of have to separate ourselves from certain things that are raising our anxiety, things that are, causing us fear, causing us stress. We have to step back. And a part of us is going to think, oh, I'm not weak, I can take it. But it has nothing to do with being weak or, being strong. It has everything to do with preserving our own mental health and preserving our own, connection with our energy vibration, our own connection with positivity and contentment and love and peace and harmony. We're also going to find that a lot of fears come up during this time, a lot of things that will make us want to put the brakes on it, because it's going to bring up, and it affects us emotionally, but it comes up in the public arena. These things where we're kind of already predispositioned to be fearful of it. We're predispositioned to not want to try, to not want to move forward the way that spirit is calling us to. So the moon comes in, the fear comes in, and it can be just a bit overwhelming. It can be very, very, very intense. We can also feel like the subconscious and conscious side of ourselves just isn't coming together. We can feel out of harmony. And if that happens, meditation, connecting with ourselves, understanding ourselves, giving ourselves time and holding sacred space for us, which can sound silly. Why wouldn't I hold space for me? Or why would I need to hold space for me? It's because we need to step out of the chaos of the world and just say, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And I'm listening to you. I'm connecting with you. I'm seeing you, when other people do not. Or when it feels like there's only just frustration and aggravation and doubt and fear. Our chakra energy, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides, is abundance. This is the root chakra. We are meant to live in abundance. And that might seem so contrary to the world that is around us, to the pain and the hurt and the chaos and the doubts and the fears and the anger, and the fact that it seems like just one group of people have all the money and everybody else is left to fend for themselves. Here with abundance, it's understanding that at our root, we are to flourish. And that brings us to the Nordic statement that we said earlier. It's better to be king of a cottage than servant in a castle. It's better to have what can be afforded than to always be striving for what everybody else oohs and ahs over, because there's a sense of peace of mind is really quite brilliant. And so here we're going to find that we're putting things into perspective. And we're also going to find that real abundance is security. It's being able to pay our bills. It's being able to, handle things and understand things and put food on the table and have ourselves moving forward. And so we might have to look at things in a very different light, reevaluate things, reevaluate where we spend our time, reevaluate why we're putting so much effort into something that doesn't seem to be fulfilling us. So that's going to be really important. It's not the fancy cars, it's not the bigger house, it's not the 18 million different ways that we can show abundance through kind of a force, but it's going to be embracing abundance within ourselves and opening ourselves up to richness, because we're going to find that we're coming out of a box that we were put in. And it can be that we put ourselves in there, that we took all the hurtful comments, as we were growing, we took all the fears that we have had, and we said, okay, here's safe. Here is where I need to be. Here is where I need to connect with myself. And we kept ourselves in that box, and it's felt okay, but we've outgrown it. We've come to see that it's not the right place for us. It can be that somebody else put us in there. It can be that we've been fighting against a way that the world wants us to be, or the way that a certain person wants us to be, or the way that even we wanted ourselves to be, so that others would see ourselves as successful and prosperous. And now it's like, I'm done with this. I'm done with the masquerade. I'm done with the nonsense. And now I'm coming into me. And we feel judged. We feel judged as we step into ourselves. We feel judged as we, embrace what we need, what we want, and what we desire. And it moves us to justice. It moves us to actually being able to be discerning, actually being able to say, this is what I want for myself. This is what I need for myself. This is where I need to go. This is how I need to be. And we're discerning about the energy that we let in. When I first started reading the tarot, justice was always like, you have to be fair, you have to be just. And I always was confused with that energy because I was like, but why? And now as I've evolved, as the cards have evolved with me, it's like, it's like, be discerning. Let the energy in that you need, and say to the people who don't resonate with you, say to the energy that you don't want in your life, that's fine, that's your opinion, but I don't need to carry that with me. That was your experience, but it wasn't my experience. And I get to carry me forward. And that's going to be really important, not to be just to everybody, not to bend over backwards so that we break our back for everybody else, but to be just to ourselves, to be just to what we want and what we need and where we need to be and how we are embracing our lives and what we desire for ourselves. And it moves us to the 6 of Earth. It moves us to this place where we're trying to find the balance. We're trying to find the balance between the lizard and the sleeping dragon in the rocks. We're trying to find the balance between what we are now and what we are becoming and where we are becoming and how we are becoming and what we are moving forward to and what we are embracing within our lives and within ourselves. The 6 of Pentacles is like, make things fair. And it's also calling out injustice within our lives. And that's also calling justice into our lives. It's saying, this was all give and no take, or this was all take and no give. And so here, we need things to be fair. We need to see ourselves. And as we embrace love, we embrace that chaotic nature of, I cannot control everything and everyone. So it's so interesting that love here is the equivalent of the devil, in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And so as we're looking at what we love, as we're looking at what we want, as we're looking at what we were never able to control or never able to get from a certain person, we look at the chaos within life. And here we have, the girl petting the fox. And they're both wild. Maybe one is a bit more tamed in their way of seeing the world than the other, but there's a wild element to every single one of us. There's a drop of chaos, at least a drop of chaos in every single being on this earth. And so we need to accept that. We need to understand it. We need to say, I love you, even though I cannot control you, even though things have gone wrong before. I love because it is part of my heart and part of my soul and part of myself. And we're moving away from addictions and hurts and pains, things that have been coping mechanisms to try and get us to the place that we wanted to be, or try to run away from the feelings that were just too much and too overwhelming to be able to, fully understand within our life and fully, move us forward with. And so here we're finding a balance. We're finding this sense of I'm coming into myself more and more. And as we come into ourselves more and more, we make an offering to this earth. We make an offering to what we desire from life. We make an offering of our intentions and our desires and where we're moving and why we're heading there. And there's this sense here with the Hermit. It's like, it's not for everybody, it's for me. And we need to connect with ourselves. We need to connect with what we want and what we desire and how we're moving forward and where it is that we want to be and how it is that we want to be and where it is that we want to go and how it is that we want to open up the door. And so with this Virgo energy coming forward, with this Hermit energy guiding us, we're seeing ourselves more and more and more. And it brings us then to the 3 of Cups. In our hearts, we're going to carry around the hurt that was given to us forever and ever. I mean, that's just a period end of discussion. The intensity of that hurt is astoundingly different. So when we are hurt and when we're carrying around an open wound, that is tender, that is oozing and bleeding and needs attention. So when we are carrying around a pain from a person, it is like having an open wound. But as we start to heal, as we start to acknowledge, that's what that person could give. Whether it was right, whether it was wrong, whether I wanted more or whether I needed more. That was beside the point. That's where that person was in their journey and in their life. And this is where I am in my journey and in my life. And I will not be defined by the lack of somebody else. And that's going to be a very important thing to come to the realization of, because this pain comes up and it haunts us a little bit. There's something here that we want to do. It has to do with taking on extra responsibility. It has to do with, looking at things in a different light. It has to do with opening up a door or moving ourselves forward or saying, can I do this? I'm not sure if I want to do it. I'm not sure if I even can do it, right? But there's this energy that comes in that says, oh, but remember when you trusted a person that you kind of this person kind of makes you think of, or remember when you did this or did that and it didn't work out well. It's like, yeah, okay, trust everyone but brand your kettle. Don't trust unduly, and don't expect fools to become anything more than what they are. But also know that the past is done with. It gives us lessons. It helps us learn. But we can't keep, excuse me, we can't keep pulling it forward into our present. And it moves us then to the King of Pentacles. It's like, once we understand this hurt, and actually once we give it a name and start to see the impact that it's had over us, the King of Pentacles comes in, and it's like, this is your prosperity. This is your success. This is your bounty. This is who you are. These are the seeds that you're planting. This is the way that you need to move forward. This is the wisdom that crowns you. Take it. Take it, and don't let anybody rob it from you. Don't let anybody make you feel as if you are unworthy. And it leads you then to the sense of, I own. I own what is powerful and purposeful and bountiful within my life. And it brings me to the Ten of Cups. It brings me to a healing. It brings me to a place where I find my footing. It brings me to this place where I start to live a happily ever after. It doesn't have to be anybody else's dream. It can be a cabin off grid, in the middle of wherever. But if it's our dream, that's what matters. Our dream is what matters, not everybody else's desire for us. And so we start to live our dream. We start to embrace our passion. We start to realize our truth and our wonder and our joy and our intensity. And it brings us then to things coming our way. Again, it's going to be rather emotional in the public arena, but we become aware of something that we weren't aware of. We become aware of gifts or blessings or, ways to move forward that we would have overlooked. We would have said, oh, that's not pretty enough. And I always see this as a cup that almost looks like it was made out of clay, and we have all these other beautiful gold cups. And so why would we take the one that was handmade? You could still see the fingerprints, you can feel it, that's made of clay. Like, why would you take this cup? It's like, because if you knew who made that cup, if you knew what care was put into crafting that cup, that would be the first cup you would go for, instead of the ones that did not have that energy to them. So that's what's coming through with the Four of Cups. There's something that's coming in where if we knew why it was being presented to us, we would absolutely take it without hesitation. But since we don't, if we questioned it, it's like, okay, well, why do I need to do this? And the Three of Cups comes in, and there's a sense of remembering who's been on your side, remembering the people who have celebrated you and stood by you and loved you and cared for you. And it's not just the people who have betrayed us that we are going to try and win their approval, because it's kind of like when you have an abusive parent when you're little, or abusive caregiver, that child, statistically speaking in psychology, that child is going to be more likely to try and strive for the approval of the parent that doesn't treat them well than for the parent that does, or for the caregiver that does. So what we're going to see here is that we're going to have a tendency in our head to think of the person who would disapprove of us instantaneously, instead of thinking of the people who approve of us, who love us, who show up for us. And even if it's just our angels and our spirit guides, even if we're just learning how to trust and show up for ourselves, that's a huge thing. That matters. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Queen of Pentacles. It's boiling everything down to money. It's understanding that our energy vibration will not mesh with everybody. And it's also knowing that there's going to be a person who's like, well, show me the worth, show me the paperwork, show me how much it costs, and I'll show you whether it's worth doing or not. And they'll miss the emotional side of it. For us, Cancer, if they miss the emotional side of it, they miss the whole point of it. So that's going to be something to be aware of. It moves us then to our subconscious chakra energy, which is family. And family is at our root. It's what we desire. It's the family we've created. It's the family we've been born into. It's the people who have raised us. It's the sense of our DNA, legends. It's our cellular memories, even if it's from past lives. People don't think of their past life experiences having an impact on their present day self. So here, it's all those things combined, and it's seeing where we stand, how we move forward, where are our roots, and why are our roots there. It moves us to our subconscious rooted message, and that's the moon. So the moon is something for us to be aware of, but it's also a beautiful guiding light for us. This is, again, Pisces energy. So if we have that within our chart, it comes through very powerfully. But this is a sense of a calmer, gentler illumination of the world that we are in. This is saying, look at the shadows. Don't first see the monsters. Look at the shadows and see what's truly there, not what our mind is tricking us to see, not what we, instinctually want to see. It's starting to see our world. It's starting to embrace the quiet. It's starting to understand ourselves and move ourselves forward in that energy of wisdom and truth and discovery, and also knowing that everything changes. Everything has its place and its time, and it ebbs and it flows and it changes its phases, just like the moon does. Then we have our subconscious inner self, and this is the Eight of Earth, the Eight of Pentacles. Our hard work is paying off. Prosperity is moving us towards a greater goal, towards a greater insight, towards a greater idea. We're opening up the door. We're starting to see where we want to be, where we need to be, how we need to move forward, what we desire, but also what we've been working towards. This can be our 10,000 hours, and we can think of our 10,000 hours like, okay, I'm going to learn how to play the piano and I'm going to become a master. I need my 10,000 hours. But it's also our connection with people. It's the trials and tribulations we've had thrown in our lives that we've had to deal with time and time again. And so here, as we connect, as we start to see what we've been training for, even if we didn't realize that this was an important aspect of who we are and where we're headed, we're going to start to see those skills paying off. Things that we have learned that maybe we didn't even want to learn. They start having purpose in our lives. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and it's the Page of Swords. We become a student of the power of our voice. We become a student of the power of our mind. We start to see things openly and honestly and intricately and powerfully. We cut through doubts and fears, but we also embrace the nobility of our being, because swords are only for the noble, back in medieval times. We're also going to get messages. It comes through words, which, sounds practical, or sounds like all messages come through words. But some messages come through imagery, come through feelings, come through places. But this is going to come through words, through text, through something that you could hold. I mean, if it comes on your phone, that also will count. So just be mindful of that. But there's a sense here of feeling connected and feeling like you're being guided. And that's going to be really important. We're going to find that we're learning our voice better. We're learning how to trust our voice and our way forward. Our subconscious public arena self is the Knight of Pentacles. We are defending our prosperity. We're slowly and steadily moving towards something more, something greater. We're building up. And that's going to be really important for us. It's like we're building towards what we greatly want. And we have to have patience with ourselves as we are developing these skills, as we are developing what we desire. Okay. All right, Cancer. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the beauty that is us. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Cancer.